We are hearing more from Iranian state television and from the International Revolutionary Guard Corps itself, which is taking credit for this strike. Fred Pleiken is in Tehran at this moment, able to monitor that and monitor those signals that you're seeing. Fred, what are they saying?
Well, they're obviously saying that the Revolutionary Guard Corps is the ones who are behind this attack on this airbase. They say tens of rockets and missiles have been fired at that base. In fact, on the Fars News Network, which is one of the state-run news agencies here in Iran, there is some video purporting to show one of those missiles hitting the base. They are saying that that was a ballistic missile hitting the Al-Assad airbase. I'm just seeing this. We're obviously not able to independently verify that, but that obviously, Aaron, would be an absolutely significant turn of events, because one of the things that we've seen so far with these attacks on American bases inside of Iraq, some of them by pro-Iranian proxy forces, is that they've often used lower tech, shorter range rockets. If this was indeed a ballistic missile, a short range or even a medium or longer range ballistic missile, then it would be the Revolutionary Guard Corps not just showing that it's lashing back out at the U.S. or taking revenge at the U.S., as they put it, for the killing of Qasem Soleimani, but them also showcasing some of their military capabilities, essentially saying they don't just have proxy forces that can wage low-scale warfare, but they also can use some more conventional weapons like these ballistic missiles. Of course, the ballistic missile program has been a huge concern, not just of the Trump administration, but of many administrations before that, and indeed of the international community. But I want to say a key thing that I've been hearing from senior Iranian commanders here over the past couple of days. They've told me they were obviously absolutely enraged by the killing of Qasem Soleimani. They said unequivocally there would be a military reaction, a military retaliation. They said that military retaliation would be against military targets. So this certainly does seem to fit that bill. Now, the Iranians are saying, or have been saying, through various channels, that they don't want this to escalate into a wider conflict. They don't want this to turn into a war. They said they want to retaliate and they want it to end there. But it's not clear how long that retaliation is going to last and how big that retaliation is going to be. The head of the Revolutionary Guard Corps came out and said, Aaron, that there would be a strategic retaliation, that strategic retaliation would happen over a wide geography. So that seems to indicate that this could just be the beginning and not be the end, and that it would happen over a longer period of time, Aaron.
Well, first round of retaliation has started. So Iran has launched missiles at a base in Iraq, and who knows if that's the end of it. Apparently they've released a statement that said, yeah, we want to retaliate and let that be the end of it. We both know that's not going to happen. This is exactly what the war hawks were hoping for. They've come up with their bullshit cockamamie excuse for why they've done what they've done, and unfortunately they've sold a lot of far, right base on their rationality. The people who, vote red no matter what, basically. They've bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And so, unfortunately, I do think a lot of those people that Trump won over with that message he had when he ran for office, a lot of them have either completely abandoned him now or become very weary. But nonetheless, this is exactly what the far right that wanted this war, they're getting what they wanted, because by this sort of retaliation, this now gives them the green light. Oh, well, we were attacked, so we must do something back. So it's going to go tit for tat, and eventually we're going to end up in a full-fledged war. I will say this, for all the impeachment inquiry that just happened, opportunity wasted, because this would be the perfect circumstance to have solid grounds for impeachment. There was no constitutional basis for what he did when he launched missiles to kill Soleimani. Okay? We have not declared war on Iran, and you cannot just go assassinating high-ranking figures of another country's military, especially if you haven't even declared war on them. Because that, by very definition, even though somehow the far right is trying to spin that is not an act of war, bullshit. It is an act of war. And you didn't have a declaration of war approved by Congress to do that. So, yeah, you violate the Constitution very clearly. And so that has perfect legal, ground perfect, concrete base for impeachment. So complete opportunity wasted. That being said, apparently Trump has also come out and basically said that that whole thing about Iraq saying they want us to leave. This guy, look, you're going to have to learn what my grandma used to say a long time ago, and that is, you can't have your cake and eat it too, okay? So the guy that wants to run around claiming that he knew it was a bad idea to get into the Iraq war has now also come out while still trying to claim that, oh, well, I knew it was a bad idea, and I said we shouldn't have done it, and has come out and said, well, we're not going to leave because we've invested too much money into building these military bases, and so unless you're going to pay us for them, then we're not going anywhere. Wow. I mean, that's absolutely insane. I mean, really. What on earth is this man thinking at this point? Or is he even thinking? I mean, I have no idea what he is doing saying something like that. Seriously. Let's examine that for just a moment, okay? If you think Iraq was such a bad idea, get the hell out. You've been president now for almost your entire first term. Get out. And then what do we hear from a lot of people? Well, he has drawn back. What's he drawn back? See, when people came at Trump for saying he drew back in Syria, the problem is, folks, he abandoned the Kurds, but he didn't actually withdraw troops. He relocated troops to another part of Syria. Relocation is not the same thing as a complete withdrawal. Okay? If I move from the bedroom of my house to the bathroom of my house, I never left my house. I just left one portion of my house and went to another portion. So because he moved from point A to point B within the same country, that's not a withdrawal. In what world do you think that is a withdrawal? It's not. He just relocated troops. Okay? So that's bogus. All right? But he could withdraw from Iraq if he thought such a bad idea. He hasn't. He hasn't withdrawn. And now he's saying, well, we're not going to withdraw. Well, wait a minute. I said this either in my last video or the video before last. Could have even been in both, actually. Our whole goal was to try to go in and liberate Iraq, right? Give them the freedom to vote. Let them make their own choices finally, right? So if that's what we were there to do, let me get this straight. You're now doing the very thing I predicted by saying, oh, we're not going to withdraw. Let me tell you this lovely little new piece of information that just recently came out about what freedom and liberty is. No one knew this till 30 seconds ago when it popped in my head. Freedom and liberty means you're free to do as you please and make the choices that you please, regardless of whoever likes them. That means you may not like them and he may not like them, but if I want to do it, I'm able to do it. See, that's what the benefits are to being free. And so if they want you out, they're a sovereign nation. You get the hell out. Because if another military presence was in this country and we told them to get out, and they said, well, wait a minute. We've already built military bases there. You want us to leave? How do you think we would respond to that? We wouldn't respond to it very well. So why do you think it's any different for them? Oh, what? Because we went over there and liberated them? Once again, Iraq was not begging us to come in when we went. We weren't begged and pleaded by the people. Now, of course, if you listen to George Bush, they're going to say, oh, we were welcomed as heroes. Okay, well, they weren't begging for us to come over. We just went over because, those weapons of mass destruction that weren't found. Which brings me to this point. This is how bad this entire situation is. You know it's a bad day at the office when CNN is actually able to report on something and not have to skew it or warp it or misrepresent it, and they are actually doing something that you barely see them do anymore, and that's actually reporting on something that's real, something true. And what were they able to finally do? While Donald Trump has been accusing them of fake news all this time, and I'll do the same thing, by the way, he's finally been hit with a good one. And I don't even know how he can give a response to this. What are they basing all this stuff off of, that Soleimani had plans to carry out more attacks? The intelligence agencies. Now, you've heard what I've said about that in the last video. The intelligence agencies that, again, they said weapons of mass destruction, all that, didn't find them, so they've been known to be wrong and lie in the past. Okay? But they're basing it off the intelligence agencies. Now, take their track record in the past aside. Donald Trump and the Trump administration are wanting me to trust these intelligence agencies. Now, rewind those clocks back, not all the way to Iraq, within the last couple of years. What was Donald Trump saying about those very intelligence agencies? That they're liars and you can't trust them. And so the very same intelligence agencies he has argued against and accused of lying, and brought up how they made a huge mistake with the Iraq war and the weapons of mass destruction. Trump's been critical of these very same intelligence agencies. Now he's going to look me straight in the face, and all the rest of you straight in the face, and tell you that we know this to be true because the intelligence agencies told us so. And how anyone can look at what he has accused them of in the past, which I won't disagree with the accusations of. I think when he accused them of these things, he was right. They are a bunch of liars. They're in bed with the military-industrial complex. They want to keep that war going, sure. So I agreed with him before. But the fact he's looking at us all now, after the fact of saying all that, and wanting us to genuinely believe that now all of a sudden they're telling us the truth, absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I will be honest, if he gets reelected this coming November because of this, because of what's about to blow up, in my opinion, with Iran, I will be thoroughly surprised. I thought he had a decent chance in the November election. I don't know who the Democrat nominee is going to be come November, but at this point, I don't think it really matters because a lot of Trump's base has fled from him. Again, you still got those who are going to love him no matter what he does. But a lot of those others who thought he wasn't going to be that conventional, old, swampy Republican, the type he railed against, a lot of those people are saying, okay, yeah, so you're doing something else because you're actually doing something George Bush wasn't even stupid enough to do, and that's kill Soleimani. Bush stopped the Israelis from taking him out. Obama stopped the Israelis from taking it out. But no, you were the right fool for the right job. So the fact that you were dumber on something than the Bush administration, that is a huge slap in the face to your administration, that you were dumber than George Bush on an issue. So I really don't think he's going to have much of a chance. I think his solid base that's going nowhere is going to turn out for him, but I think a lot of those swing voters either going to go third party or they're going to go for whoever that Democrat nominee is. I can tell you right now, if it's not a Democrat nominee that I approve of, this guy will be either doing a write-in or will be going third party come November. Okay? That being said, we will see. But if Donald Trump somehow gets reelected after what's going on right now, because we are going into a pinch time here, people. We're in the fourth quarter. And quite honestly, I'm just going to be completely honest, things aren't looking good. This tit for tat's going to go back and forth, and I fully look for them to cause a oil crisis in the world right now, which is going to cause gas and everything to skyrocket. Aside from the fact they could attack more oil fields, I fully look for them to close off the Strait of Hormuz, which is going to stop oil from being shipped out on those ships. I fully look for that to happen. That alone will cause a big catastrophe. Okay, for a lot of countries, they'll turn the rest of the world against the United States. This is gonna be really bad for the United States. And quite honestly, I think all the excuses that we're hearing from the Trump administration, like why they did what they did or what they want to do now and how it isn't an act of war and all this BS they're pushing, in all honesty, I think it's just because they're trying to look for any way possible to try and cover their asses. Because they really screwed the pooch on this one big time. Big time. Okay? And it's going to seriously cause some problems around the world if things keep up. And that's not even taking into account potential for any sort of cyber attacks. You know? I mean, who knows what's coming? All I can say is, to all you war hawks up in Washington and all you people who pushed to get this and now you're finally getting what you wished for, go fuck yourselves. Seriously. Because it's people like you who are going to sit behind your desks and do not one damn thing while you just keep sending more and more, lower to middle class young men off to a hellhole to go fight wars that you started in the first place. You're going to send them off to die for your bullshit war that you started while you sit back all nice and comfortable spending taxpayer money to fund this war because some damn person in the DOD or in the military-industrial complex bought your ass off and you've got financial interest in them. And that is a damn shame.